The Gigafactory is Tesla's giant battery factory. It's in a desert industrial park outside Reno. It's really the middle of nowhere, and it's one of the biggest buildings in the world. We spoke to some whistleblowers who'd worked there who had some crazy stories about what went on.
Such as?
So it all started last June 4th. This story appeared in Business Insider, and it said that there are huge amounts of waste, that there were wasted parts piled up high all around the factory, and that Tesla was perhaps using damaged batteries in its cars. And from reading this story, it was clear that there was some sort of whistleblower who had gone to Business Insider. And the story was, there's so many crazy things going on with Tesla. People basically moved on right away. It didn't make a huge splash.
Another day, another story, another crazy story on Tesla.
But what we found out is that for Elon Musk, he wasn't ready to move on. He was really angry that anyone would leak, and he actually hired a special team of operatives to track down this leaker.
All right, so I want to talk about the operatives because as I was reading this story, you sort of, it takes a little bit of a left turn and you start to talk about Uber a little bit.
So Uber had an intelligence team, and one of the members of the team blew the whistle on Uber, and he said that his colleagues were spying on people, recording rival executives' conversations, hacking into their databases. He later took some of this back, but there was enough there that the CEO apologized, and the head lawyer said, Uber employees stop following people around. So the members of this team, several of them sued the whistleblower for defaming them. And they said, this is going to make it hard for us to get a job. But it didn't. As soon as this came out, they got jobs at Tesla.
Because most people probably read this and thought, oh my gosh, this is really bad behavior. But Elon Musk apparently read it and said, those are my guys.
There you go. And so they've identified the leaker. It's Martin Tripp. He's like basically a low-level assembly line junior engineer. And they interrogate him for hours. He admits to it. He gets fired. Tesla sues him. Here's where it really gets weird.
It's almost unbelievable.
Just a few hours after that, the local sheriff gets a call from the Gigafactory. It's one of Tesla's security guys, and Tesla's security guy seems really worried. He says, we've just had a threat called in. We heard that this guy, Martin Tripp, this whistleblower, he's coming to shoot us up. So the sheriff goes to investigate, and he finds that the threat is bogus. After this tip is discredited, after the sheriff says it's not true, Tesla calls reporters and says, hey guys, did you hear there was a shooting threat at our factory? It was that whistleblower guy. He sure seems crazy. Like, just in the corporate world, this is so bizarre that you would publicize a shooting threat that no one would have known about if you hadn't.
Right.
I mean, even on the day of the threat, while the sheriff was trying to find the whistleblower, Elon Musk was emailing reporters himself and saying, we just had this threat. It's this whistleblower.
Amazing. And so you have these, as you pointed out, you essentially have whistleblowers effectively on both sides of this issue in a lot of ways. Where does it go from here?
Yeah, so this brings us to Sean Guthrow, who was one of the security managers at the Gigafactory. And he's actually the guy who called the sheriff to tell the sheriff about the threat. And now he's been fired, and he's saying he's turned whistleblower himself. And he's saying that him and his colleagues on the security team went too far in their pursuit of Tripp.
Right.
He's saying that they had Tripp followed by private investigators. They misled the police about that. They were somehow able to monitor his communications to see, because Elon Musk had this theory that Tripp was working with hedge funds, short sellers, oil companies, that there was some sort of big conspiracy going on, and he really wanted his security team to find evidence of that.